today I thought I would try to tackle some of this stash of envelopes that I have. They come in all shapes and sizes, different size windows, some big, some small, some no window at all, like that's a super long window. And I thought I would make some neutral pockets to put in my stash to use in other journals. So I picked out 3 envelopes. This one is a new envelope, fairly small window, this size window, and that size. The first thing I also pulled out some book page. We're going to collage them with book page. I decided, I have a lot of fussy cut birds, so I pulled a bunch of those out, and I rarely ever use them. I don't know why, they're so pretty. Anyway, we'll pick a few of those to use, some labels that I need to use up, some teeny weeny little labels that I need to use, and I don't know whether I'm going to use these or not. It's a little pad of paper. I'm not sure what you do with them, but anyway, we'll figure out if we can use those as well. So first thing I'm going to do is open all these envelopes up so that they're wide open and we can decorate the inside as well as the outside. Got everything opened up. Some of them will tear when you're trying to pry them apart, and that's okay because I think on this particular one we'll probably be cutting that end off, but if you aren't, as you collage the envelope, that is going to repair that. Okay, these envelopes, most will have these little flaps up here. So depending on where you want the entry of your pocket to be, you want to keep, in other words, if you want this to be the top of your pocket, you want to keep this flap and fold it in, glue it down and fold it again, and this will reinforce the entry to your pocket. On this one, I think I'm going to let this part be the top of the pocket, this to be the bottom. You can still keep this if you want. I'm probably going to cut it off because I'm going to be sewing around my pockets and probably cutting off about right there, but you want to leave a little extra so that you can turn it over and reinforce the top. The same thing would apply to all of the envelopes that you're using. But for right now, I'm going to collage the outside of the envelopes with book page. And I've got some old vintage book page here, and we're just going to start gluing. I'm going to kind of put this on a fast speed while I do this, and I'm going to be covering the front and the back. If you are going to glue the pocket down, you don't need to do the back. Okay, I'm going to use these as like free floating pockets, so I'm going to be covering the front and the back. I'm going to trim off the part that I don't want to use. Still leaving enough to turn that under. And I'm not measuring this. I'm just eyeballing to what I think I'm going to need. There's no secret measuring formula to doing these. Okay, so that would be like that. This would be the entry to the pocket. I'm going to fold that down a little bit. Okay. Throw that away. We don't need it. On this one, I'm going to do the same thing. This is one of those things, just don't overthink it, just eyeball it. So there's that one. And we'll fold that down. We'll probably lose about a ½ inch or so, and it'll end up looking like that. This one, I'm going to be entering the tag or whatever into that part. So we've got the reinforcement there, so I just need to cut this to the length that I want it. Probably about right there. Okay. I'm going to leave some of this flap just to turn in and reinforce the pocket a little bit. We don't need the whole thing. Okay, so now let's start collaging these with book page. Okay, I got the fronts of all these covered. This book page was a little bit fiddly to work with. It tore in places I didn't want it to tear, but that's okay. We got through it. So I want to try to ink around some of these here and there. I don't want any ink on the window, so I'm just going to use something to cover that up while I ink around all of these edges. So I totally didn't turn the camera back on for this next part. So I inked everything, and then I took some decorative paper out of my stash. This is one of my digitals. And just covered the inside of the envelope so you have something nice to look at through the window. And did that on all 3 of these. Okay. So I want to let these dry really good, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew around all of the edges. So what I'll do when I sew is first sew around the top of this just to reinforce it, and then I'll close it up and we'll sew around all of the edges. I actually think I'm going to take this part off because I think it's going to get in the way. Do the same thing with all of these. Okay. That one's really nice. All right, so I'm going to let these dry for a little bit before I take them to the sewing machine. And then once I get everything sewn, I will come back and we'll decorate the fronts. Okay. Right, I sewed all around these, along the tops, sewed along the windows, and then I closed it up and sewed down these 3 sides. So you have a nice pocket that you can stick a tag in. Okay. And I chose these little decorations for it. Still keeping it nice and neutral. We got this one. And then this one. So let's go ahead and get these little things glued down. And I'm going to put a little something right there. Let me figure out what that will be. Okay, I've got this little sentiment. I'm gonna ink it up. Okay, that looks great. Doesn't look so blank now. So there's that one. And this one. And this one. Let's put a sticker on the back of this one. I'm trying to remember. These were gifted to me. I think you can get them on Amazon. And I think they're decoupage papers. I'm not 100% certain. Okay. So guys, you can make a bunch of these up in a day. Put them in and build your stash of pockets up. They're neutral. You can add some additional things to them to make them go with the journal that you're working on. But these are easy to make, a whole lot of fun. Messy, but that's okay. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Pull pull out your junk mail envelopes and cut them down to pocket size and make some of these wonderful pockets. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.